for a Monday afternoon. We'll get chilly overnight, upper 30s to near 40, and then we start a bit of a warm-up to a mild Christmas. Low chance of a shower or two Tuesday. We're mainly dry, but by Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right into the upper 60s, near 70. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us: investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning and welcome to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I am joined today with newly sworn in Mayor of Cornelius, Denis Bilodeau. Welcome and congratulations on your election. I'm so excited that we get to work together and, see what's kind of wonderful things are going to happen in the next 2 years.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that.
Before we get into those big things that everyone wants to hear about, like roads and traffic and all those things, tell everybody about what drove you to public service in the first place many, many moons ago.
Yeah, it does feel like many moons ago now, but, early on, I'd say going back 10 years now, I just wanted to do more in the community that I lived in. I, at the time, was traveling 3 weeks per month, and I'd head across the country and get back home, and I'd tell my wife, I don't know anybody or anything that's going on here. And that was my pledge, that when I did something local, that I would start looking around to see how I could help. And it went from park commissioner to the town board and now mayor. So happy to do it.
So being the mayor is a little bit different than being a commissioner. Have you had any surprises in your first few weeks as mayor?
Well, yes and no. I kind of prepared myself watching the prior mayor and how, his time and people would pull at him. So I was expecting to be busy, and that was certainly the case. And I know you and I went to Chapel Hill 24 hours after I was sworn in for a mayor's conference. So that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't realize that I'd be traveling and be thrown into it quite that quickly. But it was a good session, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, the mayors of Cornelius and Huntersville are members of Metro Mayors, which is for the larger towns and metropolitan areas. And we get together and learn about different things relating to changes in law and legislative updates and things that might be important to us coming up in the General Assembly. And so Mayor Bilodeau got to go almost immediately after being sworn in, just thrown into the deep end of the pool. And but you swam like right with the rest of us.
Well, the nice part of that, too, though, was the other mayors have similar issues. So no surprise there, talking about traffic, talking about infrastructure. So it was kind of cool to see that other cities are in the same boat, if you will.
Yeah, a major topic of this past Metro Mayors was uncivil or incivility of our residents and how to handle those things. And I think for a lot of us mayors, it was a nice refresher to have that on deck right at the beginning of the year when we're all starting off and just wanting to have, a clean slate to start with and kind of set the bar for how we expect not just our residents to behave, but also our commissioners and ourselves too. So I really got a lot out of that session. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes, absolutely. And glad that the citizens of Cornelius are fairly tame. We haven't had the issues that I heard other cities complain about. There's some really interesting events that occur at board meetings outside of the Lake Norman area, let's say.
Yeah. Some of our mayors have some big challenges, and I'm glad we don't have those kind of challenges. Ours are a little more manageable as well. So when you're thinking about Cornelius, I'm going to dive right in because this is what everyone asks. What are you going to do in your first term? What are you going to do in these 2 years? What's the big plan, Mayor Bilodeau? What is the big plan? Do you have one yet?
Oh, yes, the big plan. And my text and phone is already ringing, asking why I haven't fixed traffic yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm certainly heads down, getting out, looking at the transportation aspect of what's happening in Cornelius. That by far was the number one issue that we heard at the polls and through the election period. So very busy bringing on new committee members, bringing on an attitude of urgency so that we can do things in advance and alongside of NCDOT. When we look at some of the road projects that are 3 to 5 years out, I'm not that patient, and neither are our citizens, or should they be. So a lot of what I've reviewed with the board, and they're certainly, the town board in Cornelius is experienced and ready to go. What I've talked to them about is how do we look at our 2 years? You know, we're going to run through the tape, work the full 2 years. At the end of that time frame, what do you as a commissioner want to have on your resume that you completed? So most of it will be around traffic bottlenecks, congestion. You know, certainly being thoughtful about what projects we entertain and what they do to help our town, as opposed to maybe just bringing a little bit more of the same.
Remind me again how much money the town of Cornelius will get from the sales tax when we start receiving those funds.
It is, in Cornelius, the number I've heard is $5.75 million a year, and then if the sales tax increases in terms of dollars collected, then it may go up from there.
Yeah. So Huntersville have about $12.5 million, and when those funds are available to us, it'll be a game changer for us in completing those kinds of projects, sidewalks, crosswalks, things like that residents really need and ask for, and we'll have a little extra, hopefully, to add to the pot, and looking forward to solving problems with those funds in the future. You know, we had the same issue. Traffic is the number one issue. Congestion is the number one issue. And then I think after that is, you know, development and how development should be managed. And I think we all have those same challenges, no matter what town you're in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Do you have a pet project that you're thinking about working on? You know, I always joke about my cat getting rid of the Cashins on the corner of Statesville and Gilead Road as my pet project in my first term. Do you have something like that you have your eye on?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I did. I have a pet project that I've already completed.
No.
And it was something that was in the works, you know, that I could see it every day for 2 to 3 years, where we had on West Catawba some tree branches that were stuck in the overhead wires. You know, so development was clearing land, and they left some tree branches in the wires. And every time I would go by, I said, you know, if I'm ever mayor, I'm going to make sure that we take those out. And I've heard from folks that say, well, you just can't do it. You know, there's no way to get that done. So symbolically, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that folks would notice is that we're going to do things regarding the roads, but we're going to keep track of the basics as well. So as of last week, the branches are no longer in the overhead wires.
All right.
One branch, by the way, is in my office right now. So I think I might put a shadow box around that one and say, hey, start of one thing and many things coming.
Yeah. I have the keys to the old Cashins, and we were talking before we went on air about the new town hall in Huntersville opening. We'll have our first board meeting there in January. And I finally get to have an office, and I think I'll probably have a shadow box with the keys from Cashins in it.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, just to kind of represent, like, here's how I'm making change in my first role. You have been a commissioner for a while, but you've not been the mayor, and people always ask me what my leadership style is, and I'm going to let you think about that while we go to break. And when we come back, we'll talk about how we're going to lead these towns with our friend Rusty Knox.
Super.
So we have a short break, and please join us when we come back.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off the week of Christmas, a little on the cool side. Plenty of sunshine, low 50s for a Monday afternoon. We'll get chilly overnight, upper 30s to near 40, and then we start a bit of a warm-up to a mild Christmas. Low chance of a shower or two Tuesday. We're mainly dry, but by Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right into the upper 60s near 70. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville is ready to show you a great time with memberships, tea times, the Victory Lane Sports Bar and Grill, and golf lessons. Dial 704-872-9990 to enjoy all of the fun that the 500 Club has to offer. On Friday night, the Wine Maestro in downtown Statesville has live music by Josh Perryman. The presents will be unwrapped, and the family is still in town. Bring everyone out for a great night of drinks, music, and fun. The Wine Maestro is on West Broad Street in Statesville, and the Josh Perryman Show begins at 7 p.m. Friday. Bin 110 in Cornelius presents live music along with their drinks and eats for a fun night out in Lake Norman. On Friday, Little Johnny Trailer Trash is back with their brand of American music. Saturday, Steel Magnolia grabs the spotlight as they cover iconic hits from rock legends. Visit bin110.com for the live music schedule, their bourbons, whiskeys, and cocktails, as well as their food menu. Dueling Pianos are back on Saturday at Old Armor Brewing in Kannapolis for an 8 p.m. show. Visit oldarmorbeer.net for more information, and we will see you Saturday on 211 West Avenue in Kannapolis. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now and runs through January 4th. The drive-through holiday light show features more than 5 million lights circling the iconic oval, pit road, and infield road course. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets and information on Speedway Christmas. From everyone here at WSIC Radio and Lake Norman Woman Magazine, we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Don't miss the boat. Don't miss the boat, baby. Shop LKN Local for the best lake apparel, home decor, and gift ideas. Locally loved, made, and delivered right to your door. For the love of the lake, shop lkn-local.com today.
All right, we're back with more on the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I am here with Mayor Denis Bilodeau of Cornelius, and we were just getting ready to talk about what our leadership styles are as mayor. I'm more of a type C, kind of laid back kind of person, but faith in my board to do what they're supposed to do and trust them, and then if they need course correction, I correct them later. What's your style, Denis?
I would describe it as collaborative. I've learned in my business professional career that if you try to go it alone, it typically backfires. And I understand, having been a commissioner, that as mayor, you have to be someone who advocates and not dictates, because you're not going to get very far in our town without 3 votes on your side. So, early on, I've tried to use, my skills in terms of trying to get consensus, try to be patient about, if you don't get it the first time, then keep advocating for it, keep bringing what the citizens are telling you, and use that to the benefit of the commissioners. So I'm out and about, and if I hear things, I like to share things, and in that way we could have a really good discussion with some fact and information. So I'd say collaborative.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to be that way as the mayor. It's not going to go very far, especially in the town of Huntersville, and you don't have a vote either. But we don't vote on what comes on our agendas like the commissioners do, and so if we're not going to be collaborators, then we're never gonna see successes the way we want to see them, because the board members are gonna get sick of that and move on and do their own thing, which sometimes they do. They march to be their own drum that they're entitled to.
Yeah, and that to me, that's a great thing. That we don't always agree, and I know the board does not always agree with each other, but the more dialogue, the more information you can bring to the table, you can come to a consensus, or at least like in our town, 3 out of 5 commissioners agree, and that moves the ball forward.
Yeah, yeah, and that does move it forward. In your town, do you have a limit on how many people have to weigh in to put something on your agenda, or can anyone put something on your agenda? How does that work?
Well, that's a very good question. The agenda is something that I do get actively involved in, and we typically have a full agenda. We do offer, of course, and I'm sure you probably do in Huntersville, a period of time for folks to come up and speak about anything that they want. You know, they have their 4 minutes. They can talk about anything from A to Z in town. But typically, when we hear a pressing issue, it'll come through town hall. It may come through one of the managers or come through one of the commissioners, and we pretty much fill the agenda that way.
hmm We just had a really interesting topic come before us in Huntersville, which was we had a resident who wanted to build a helipad for his helicopter. And so we turned to the town of Cornelius because if you've been on the lake, you've seen helicopter pads out there. And so you know, okay, Cornelius must do something. And we learned that y'all don't really have a policy for helipads. They're sort of managed through Duke Energy and their dock permitting process. And so we probably will convert to that same policy in the future as well, if the board agrees. Of course.
Yeah. I was the HOA president in the peninsula in Cornelius, and there are several folks that are in the NASCAR or in the sports arena that like to use a helicopter to get back and forth where they need to go. So that topic came out and came before me as the HOA president, and I did take advantage of our town attorney's advice and research as far as what does an HOA have or what does the town have to really guide through that. And there's not a lot. There's not a lot there.
No.
So it was an interesting conversation. We got cooperation from our helicopter owner to help do the right thing for the community and not land in a populated area.
Yeah. That's a tricky one. And we declined that individual's text amendment at the time, and we're going to do some more research, but I do believe we'll probably end up where you are, which is allowing Duke Energy they manage the docks on the lake, and we don't need to be involved in managing docks if they're managing docks, and we're with you on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in 2 years from now, what would you envision having residents say, all right, Mayor Bilodeau did what we promised, this is solved? What would that thing be, do you think?
Wow. I'm thinking ahead 2 years. I'm trying to think ahead to Monday, the next following week.
I know I kind of set you up.
Yeah. Well, again, I have set some goals that I'd like to see happen, and hopefully I'd like to hear from the citizens and have them say that while you can never, turn off traffic will still be coming through, but to have them say that they can see that we have done what we reasonably can do to eliminate bottlenecks. There are times when we shoot ourselves in the foot, whether it's doing traffic repair during the day instead of the night, or just not anticipating a road being utilized for construction and getting the word out in time. So there's a number of things that I would like to hopefully in 2 years solve for, and have the residents say that communication and urgency were two of the things that they could see.
Yeah.
In those 2 years.
Yeah, I think every voter wants to see that. Like when you say, like, are we really got to do something about congestion? Like, can we fix that one place that makes the bottleneck? And I drive around like you do a lot, and I see where they are too, and get stuck in those places where I want to turn left and I can't turn left because the traffic is so bad. And I think, okay, we need to put a light in here someday. So those are definitely on our list as well. It's the ever growing concern around here, and I hope people will also in the future get out of their cars and move around different ways. And I say that as much for them as myself, because
Sure.
I need to figure out how to commute on the Greenway and not in my car either. When it's warm out, I'm a fair weather outside person. I'm not gonna lie. Do you like to? What do you do for exercise? Do you walk or go to the gym or?
Well, these days, I used to run quite a bit, and that caused my knees to tell me to stop.
Yep.
So my wife and I like to hike. So we travel all through North Carolina and the local areas trying to find good hikes. I do work out at a local facility here and do the spin bike, which is a little more friendly to my knees.
Mm-hmm.
So we do spin classes 3 or 4 times a week and, try to get out there and golf. I try to consider that exercise.
Yeah.
The way I hit the golf ball, it's a long way to walk. Even if we're not on the cart path, it tends to get me some steps during the day.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a golfer. I don't know anything about it, but my husband, you'll know when you're around me enough, is he plays disc golf, and I go with him to walk, and that's basically a hike in the woods. I don't play disc golf, but I walk with him, and it's always a nice hike through the woods to go out there and be in the fresh air, and let him struggle with the game, and I'll enjoy the beautiful atmosphere.
Yeah,
So
well, and that's the beauty of the Lake Norman area. We have some great parks where you can go out for a walk on a beautiful day by the water here at Jeton Park, Ramsey. So there's a lot to do here locally, but
yeah, there are.
it is, as you say, it is great to get out and move around.
Yeah, see the blue sky. I know you have not been mayor for very long, and I always joke, I was not even sworn in as mayor, and I had an email to somebody at my personal email account asking me to help them with their trash can issue. And so we get, we get things like that right from the beginning before we've even, set foot. We don't have a business card, a name tag, a place to sit, and we're already helping people solve problems. What have you been hearing right from the get-go from your residents?
Well, trash cans, that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest items here in town is, and it's something we offer that many towns do not, is that we offer leaf collection.
Mm-hmm.
So probably a week to 2 weeks before I was actually in office, I received a string of emails. Where's the leaf machine?
Yeah.
Bring it over to my house. It hasn't been here yet. So that kind of got me warmed up to it. But again, I've heard about those kind of things as a HOA president.
Mm-hmm.
You get to know what's really, really important. Politics, religion, leaf collection.
Yes,
all
trash
of those
cans.
things. Yes, trash cans for sure.
Yes. I was on my board of my HOA too, and I always kind of joke to people that if you want to run for office, serve on your neighborhood HOA board a couple terms, and you'll get to see, what really matters to your neighbors and what also matters to you, and what things will drive you crazy about your own neighbors that you love and adore, but also they can make a HOA president a little nutty, especially when they do things like break a bottle in the pool on 4th of July weekend, or something like that. But it is really good training for running for office and serving, because you're helping your neighbors directly, and they know where you live. So that's my first advice. If you can stomach it, serve on your HOA board at some point. It does take a lot of time, though. So, like Huntersville, actually, Cornelius is growing like crazy. Every little space is getting filled in, and I know you hear about that as well. What's your vision for managing and balancing growth in the future?
Well, our 13 square miles, we don't have the acreage that you have in Huntersville.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the projects that are still not out of the ground, we've got a lot of that acreage covered in Cornelius. But we've got some real talented folks on the town board and the planning board, and I think they really understand what the residents are asking for. They want things that will make life better, not something that will add just strictly to the either to the traffic issues or some of the school issues. So I think the board and the town board and the planning board both have a real good feel. So I'm really excited about that they'll know how they're thoughtful. They know how to analyze. Will this help the quality of life if it's a new venture? And is it something that our citizens want? So there's some very hard tests that have to be applied to anyone that wants to come through and add more to our growth.
Yeah. Well, we are going to stop for a short break. Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville, Mayor Christy Clark and Mayor Denis Bilodeau, and we'll be right back in just a minute.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off the week of Christmas. A little on the cool side. Plenty of sunshine, low 50s for a Monday afternoon. We'll get chilly overnight, upper 30s to near 40. And then we start a bit of a warm-up to a mild Christmas. Low chance of a shower or two Tuesday. We're mainly dry. But by Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right into the upper 60s, near 70. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Give the gift of wow. Shop at Harrison's. They'll be all smiles in new Carhartt. Ariat has layers they'll love, and there's nothing merrier than a pair of Tacovas. Find gifts for everyone at the home of Work Western and wow in Mooresville or at harrisonsusa.com.
Hello. Yes, I'm Andrea, the owner of Spotless Cleaning. Today I'm calling you to help you finish your Christmas shopping. My grandparents in Brazil taught me perfect gifts do not clutter and do not require dusting. But I will tell you, the perfect gifts does this for you. Have our trained technicians wrapped under your tree this year. Well, you know what I mean. Gift cards. Give time and Christmas sparkle for all of 2026. Spotless Cleaning and Seed.com.
Every day you listen to the news. But how is that news affecting your financial world? Things like your retirement and your kids' college fund? You need someone who can help you work towards your goals, someone to help you move forward in these times of change. Call Eileen Stoner at Morgan Stanley. Eileen has 28 years of experience as a financial advisor, and she's right here in Cornelius, North Carolina. To make an appointment with Eileen Stoner, call 704-896-9138. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Men over 45, do you have a frequent, urgent need to urinate or a weak flow? Do you suffer from an enlarged prostate or BPH? Want to learn about alternatives to BPH medication and major surgery? How? Talk to a doctor about the UroLift system. The UroLift system is the #1 chosen minimally invasive BPH procedure in the U.S. It uses a proven approach to treating enlarged prostate symptoms that lifts and holds the enlarged prostate tissue out of the way, so it no longer blocks the urethra. No heating, cutting, removal, or destruction of prostate tissue is required. Find rapid symptom relief while preserving sexual function. Call 1-800-858-7070. 1-800-858-7070. That's 1-800-858-7070. Most common side effects are temporary and can include discomfort while urinating, urgency, inability to control the urge, pelvic pain, and some blood in the urine. Rare side effects, including bleeding and infection, may lead to a serious outcome and may require intervention.
Babe, dinner's ready.
Ladies.
Babe, dinner's ready.
Ever feel like your husband just isn't listening?
Dinner's ready.
Maybe he just can't hear.
Babe.
It's time to turn up the volume on life. Beltone in Mooresville and Cornelius can help with a free hearing test and expert solutions tailored for you. Call 877-HEAR-123 today. That's 877-HEAR-123. Don't wait. Call 877-432-7123 and bring back the sound of love.
Jay White here from Central Line Realty. We're right in the center of North Carolina, and we put you at the center of everything we do. If you're selling a home, buying a home, or adding doors to your rental portfolio, put the team at Central Line Realty to work for you. Go to centrallinerealty.com and let's get started.
Friendly reminder, don't brake when you see the lake.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A new poll finding Americans aren't making those holiday charitable contributions. That's despite the many fundraising appeals made by nonprofits as the year comes to a close. The AP NORC survey found about half of U.S. adults say they've made their charitable contributions for 2025. 6% reported they haven't given yet, but will do so by year end. And Disney's Avatar Fire and Ash was the highest grossing film at the box office this weekend, with $88 million worth of tickets sold in the U.S. and Canada, with Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia 2 both generating more than $1 billion each at the global box office. Target says its online operations are back in action after a technology outage that disrupted the retailer's digital order pickup, returns, and other functions on Friday. The retailer pointed to a third-party system error without providing specifics. Target looking to reverse a lengthy slump and return to growth. Megan Dice, Bloomberg Radio.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here. All right, we're back with more on the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 1059 100.7 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right. Welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I'm Mayor Christy Clark, and I have Mayor Denis Bilodeau here with me. While we were on the break, we were just talking about all the things that go on for mayors, and some of those things we're going to talk about, maybe not. But our towns, as you know, share a lot of things: schools, roads, challenges. We are just getting to know each other, and I think we're going to be great as colleagues with Mayor Rusty Knox from Davidson. But what do you see some of those greatest opportunities are for the three towns to work together as time goes on?
Well, there are a number of things, and I'm really appreciative of both you and Mayor Knox getting together with the rookie, the new guy, and talking about those. We've already met a couple of times and plan to do more in the short term. But two that jump out to me are roads, and then the second one would be attainable living.
Mm-hmm.
So, my thought is that we're a Lake Norman region, a corridor, that individuals, folks that have to drive from point A to point B, aren't so concerned about the town line and where the projects end. They want that path to be clear through Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and Mooresville, in other words. If we could get together as three towns in North Mech and use our strengths, I see a win when Huntersville has a great road project, Davidson the same way. If we get a project and it ends right at the town line, then I think you've just created a bottleneck. So
Yeah.
so I early out of the gate, I love the conversations we're having about transportation, and then as far as affordable, attainable housing, similar issues for all three towns. So I think it's something, again, if we get together, look at what each one of us are doing. We have a Lake Norman CDC. I'd truly like it to be a Lake Norman, North Mech possible solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are the same for me and Rusty as well, as making sure our transportation plans overlap and connect in a way that makes sense. And sometimes I think if we work together to leverage things, we might have more success with projects. As if a road extends through all three towns or all two towns on either end, what can we do to work together to get that road fixed on both ends of it and not just up to the town line, which, unfortunately that's how, DOT sees things, is by town line. But down here, we can't look like that. We have to plan ahead for the future by looking at what happens in all our towns. Otherwise, it'll trickle down up, and
Yeah.
It could be a negative impact either way. You just don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's see about that. What about economic development for the town of Cornelius? Because I know you said, we're 13 square miles. What do you have envisioned for that for the future?
Yeah, well, again, we're fortunate to have board members that have real estate backgrounds and even an economic development background with Commissioner Carney, who actually does that for a living.
Mhm.
So he's got a lot of good insight. He's got a lot of experience. And, interestingly, on the campaign trail, I kind of pulled Robbie aside, Commissioner Carney now, and asked him about that because, during his campaign discussion, I liked the way he positioned, his economic development background. So he helps us understand what is healthy for our town, and not just we need to develop more property. And a lot of citizens and voters were saying, you only want to do that so that you can get more tax.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that may be the end result, but if you're not doing it right, then you're really harming the town. And in this case, I think, as I say, with the town board, with our planning board, I think they are thoughtful enough to look at the limited areas we have left and listen to what citizens are saying. Like, do we need another one of these? Do we need another one of those? You
Yeah.
hear it all the time,
Yes.
whether it's social media or in person. But if you do, like we have done with a downtown area master plan and the thought about what we want the town to look like 25, 30 years out, then I think you have a good guidepost to move forward.
Yeah, I've seen some of those comments about Cornelius on social media about no more mattress stores, no more banks. And so
Yep.
I have seen those. So I know if y'all approved a bank or a mattress store, there'd probably be a riot at the town hall.
Well, as a town, we are open for business. I'd love to meet with businesses, small businesses, really what we're all about. We don't have the very large companies here in town, but we have some very, very good small business owners that could use whatever help that we can get them, like clear the roads, let people get to their stores.
Yep.
So, we're open for business. We want the businesses that are here to do very well, do better going into the future. And then again, be selective and really look for the right complementary businesses that could come to town.
Do you have a favorite place to eat in Cornelius?
Now, I do have to be political about that.
Maybe you can choose Huntersville.
Well, I certainly like to stay in Cornelius.
Yes.
And we do have some great restaurants, and we could use more. I think there's a couple of mixed-use buildings that we have in town that are looking for new restaurants. So if you know of any that you think should come to Cornelius, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep them in Huntersville, Dennis.
We did meet for coffee in Birkdale, so.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we met for coffee in Birkdale, and we'll have breakfast in Cornelius one time, and we'll have breakfast in Davidson. We do move around and spread the mayor dollars around as we get together once a month and keep track of each other and touch base and all those good things. Yeah, the town of Huntersville is we tried to work really hard this past 2 years to flip the tax base from being prominently almost all homes and homeowners and to balance that out a little more, because we were definitely the burden was on our tax base was the homeowners, and so we have increased some of those light industrials out in the Commerce Station area, and looking forward to those getting filled up and back to work, and I think there'll be some really good things happening, and looking very much forward to the downtown continuing to change as well. Your downtown is well on its way to being a really wonderful place to be.
Yes.
What's next for downtown Cornelius?
Well, I'm sure folks know that you and I were on the different side of the red line.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is going to make a big difference to our downtown, since the tracks go right through downtown. So there's quite a bit of conversation right now. We're working that into the 2050 downtown area plan. And clearly there are some projects that are already approved, not out of the ground yet. Mills Market's a very large complex that will be right near the Kane Center. But again, when you think about what's on the way, we really have to look at how we get our transportation, how we get our traffic to flow properly, which it's not doing today. And then think about the traffic flow that will be approaching or going to the train station. So we like certain aspects about the red line, but there's other challenges that it brings, and that's, I think, where you and I were a little different. I know there is a stop just down the road from us on Highway 115 in Huntersville.
Yeah.
We see projects, high-density projects approved in Huntersville. What we're going to try to do for downtown is keep that small-town feel as best we can, and we have a land use plan that calls for that, and hopefully, keep Cornelius healthy in terms of being able to flow through the downtown, perhaps a festival street where we can have some entertainment, but not make it frustrating for our citizens.
Yeah, I think Huntersville feels the same way. We want our downtown area to, continue to become charming as it's being revitalized over time, and not have, super tall buildings and lots of activity down there, because we really don't have a lot of place for people to park in downtown Huntersville. So that, if people are bringing their car there to hop on the red line to go north or south, we'll have to have a strategy for that in the future, and that'll be something we'll be talking about at our upcoming board retreat. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville, and join us in just a minute.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 1059 100.7 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off the week of Christmas. A little on the cool side. Plenty of sunshine, low 50s for a Monday afternoon. We'll get chilly overnight, upper 30s to near 40. And then we start a bit of a warm-up to a mild Christmas. Low chance of a shower or two Tuesday. We're mainly dry. But by Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right into the upper 60s near 70. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville is ready to show you a great time with memberships, tea times, the Victory Lane Sports Bar and Grill, and golf lessons. Dial 704-872-9990 to enjoy all of the fun that the 500 Club has to offer. On Friday night, the Wine Maestro in downtown Statesville has live music by Josh Perryman. The presents will be unwrapped, and the family is still in town. Bring everyone out for a great night of drinks, music, and fun. The Wine Maestro is on West Broad Street in Statesville, and the Josh Perryman Show begins at 7 p.m. Friday. Bin 110 in Cornelius presents live music along with their drinks and eats for a fun night out in Lake Norman. On Friday, Little Johnny Trailer Trash is back with their brand of American music. Saturday, Steel Magnolia grabs the spotlight as they cover iconic hits from rock legends. Visit bin110.com for the live music schedule, their bourbons, whiskeys, and cocktails, as well as their food menu. Dueling Pianos are back on Saturday at Old Armor Brewing in Kannapolis for an 8 p.m. show. Visit oldarmorbeer.net for more information, and we will see you Saturday on 211 West Avenue in Kannapolis. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now and runs through January 4th. The drive-through holiday light show features more than 5 million lights circling the iconic oval, pit road, and infield road course. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets and information on Speedway Christmas. From everyone here at WSIC Radio and Lake Norman Woman Magazine, we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Special buy Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville and Randy Marion Chevrolet of Mooresville 2024 brand new Chevrolet Malibus. These are the LTs starting at $19,988. That's right, $19,988 brand new. Not a pre-owned car. Malibus starting at $19,988. That's right, Statesville Chevy, Mooresville Chevy. Come see us today. Pick the color, drive it home. You got it. King of price, king of deals. Randy Marion Chevrolet of Statesville, Randy Marion Mooresville.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 1059 100.7 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I am Mayor Christy Clark, and I am joined here with Mayor Denis Bilodeau. We were just talking about all things Huntersville and Cornelius this morning, and I was thinking about we like it when our residents weigh in. What are ways that in your town that residents can get involved and weigh in on how the town is shaped over the next few years?
Yeah. Well, for sure they can come to town board meetings, and in the past, when I say in the past, we've had coffee chats for as long as I can remember, and we've tried to do the coffee chats and have evening coffee chats, and they don't seem to be as effective as I'd like them to be. So going forward, starting in 2026, what I'm going to try to do is have listening meetings in the communities with specific topics that are important to those communities. And I'm sure it happens the same way in Huntersville. If there's a burning issue and you have a town meeting, you can fill a room with the right issue. But we're finding that just general meetings don't pull the folks that we really want in numbers. So hopefully, and I already know of a few issues that we're going to bring to the actual community, whether it's their clubhouse, some meeting space that's near where they live, and do it at the time and day that they want to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll monitor that, but I do want to bring more people out to town board meetings to, if they're not in person, at least be watching, and give them opportunities within their community as well to have their board and have the mayor out to listen.
Yeah, yeah, and those are some more things we do. And then we also have, I think y'all do too, arts and public art board, public greenways, bikes, trails, parks and rec, planning board. Those are all opportunities for folks to get involved. And then in the coming up year, there'll be Huntersville 101 for folks to get involved to learn about the town of Huntersville and how we run and grow. And does Cornelius have a Cornelius 101?
Cornelius 101 begins in February 2026. So,
Very nice.
So yeah, there's some similarities, and I think it's a great way to get we had a police department, citizens that could really see what the police department does, and our citizens said that's great. We'd love to know more about how the town operates.
Yeah, we have the Citizens Fire Academy and Citizen Police Academy that I think folks really enjoy doing all three of those. I've never done the fire and the police one, and I would love to do Cornelius and Davidson's Citizens 101 classes just to know a little bit more about y'all's towns.
You are very welcome, Mayor, to come join the inaugural class.
I'll crash the Cornelius 101, and everyone will be very confused. That will be a rumor starter, I bet. If I sat in on something, people would start thinking I was trying to take over Cornelius. When I first got elected as mayor of Huntersville, a rumor did go around that Charlotte, this is not a real thing, don't repeat this, that Charlotte was going to try and annex in the towns of Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson. And I'd explained to everybody that would not be happening, that the General Assembly would actually have to do that. That Charlotte can't decide to just take over 3 new towns. The General Assembly would actually have to do that. And I would be loath to think the General Assembly would put energy towards that. Making Charlotte bigger would not be on their radar, a priority for them. So it was a rumor then. It is not real. Nobody repeat that.
It came through social media, so it had to be true.
That's right. You saw it on Facebook. It had to be true. So your first term as mayor, that's what we're here talking about, is well, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier with roads, but I really want something that's like kind of personal to you, like when you, with that end of this first year as mayor, when you look back and you think about like, this is something I'm really proud of, what would that thing be, do you think?
Well, I kind of touched on it, but I do think that if we can get a clear direction, some urgency, and a different feel for how we approach things. We talked a little bit on break about how we look at the budget, and have a higher level conversation about where we're headed, how we're spending taxpayer money, making sure that the citizens do see a change in terms of how we address them, because we're all in it together. We often say that, we're in the same traffic. We hear your complaints, and then how do you articulate that? How do you get back out there and you certainly show by action, that we heard you, here's what we're changing, and hopefully get that right. So there are a number of things I've asked my town board members to come up with their list. And I think after 2 years, if we can hit most, if not all, of what the commissioners have wanted to accomplish in 2 years, then I'd be pretty darn happy.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And you kind of have your wish list of things you want to accomplish, and they can be small things like putting in a 4-way stop at this intersection, or putting in a community garden, or beta testing composting, or whatever idea people have. Because people have all kinds of wonderful ideas. It's always fun to try to work towards those and make them happen at the end. But government is slow. It does take a long time to do things. So everybody, don't be asking for these things tomorrow, because it takes a little while for things to get through the process, and RFPs and RFQs and contracts and all those things that make us legal. And so it does slow things down, but it also makes sure that things are done right. And that's always important as well.
Yeah. There's one that really jumps out when you say things are slow. We've been looking at, discussing, debating Bailey Road, and in our town, a 2-lane road that has a park, a couple of schools, and a lot of traffic issues. That would be one I would celebrate.
Yeah.
if we can get that fixed in 2 years to where the traffic flows, where the danger of cars parked in the middle of the road disappears, that we can take that off the road.
Yep.
So that's one that I think that would be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and I think that would help all three towns actually if that got improved there because it is a thoroughfare and people use the park there for soccer and tennis and pickleball and all the things, and helping getting that resolved would help us universally in this area keep traffic going.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
yeah.
That's
We also have 300 or so middle school children from Davidson now
Yeah.
attending that school to have them be able to commute in a more regular fashion without the stress of cars parked on the road, people trying to get to and from.
Yeah, keeping the traffic flow.
Yeah.
That's the keeping things moving. That's probably going to be our tagline for the next couple of years
There you go. Sure.
as we think about sales tax dollars coming in and projects we have going on. And how many road projects do y'all have active right now? Do you remember?
Well, I actually wrote them down. We have 2 projects with DOT that are scheduled to be complete in 2026. We have 2 more in 2027 and 2 more in 2028. And these are fairly significant. The big one, though, West Catawba widening, has a 2030 end date.
Yeah.
But I'll believe that when I see it. It's been
Yes.
pushed and pushed.
Yes.
But, when you look at those 7 projects in the next 3 years, I'd love to see them be delivered a little sooner. But as you mentioned, it takes a while to get things accomplished. So those 7 projects, I've got a real interest in the next 2 years to make sure they're delivered on time or ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as we can make them be ahead of schedule as possible, which is always a challenge. But, if we can find extra dollars to start engineering early or to start right-of-way acquisition early, those things are always helpful with grants and things like that to hopefully kind of kickstart things so they're ready to go when the day comes, because we have those.
Yeah, and you're right in that our projects will affect Huntersville, will affect Davidson. I know we've got a couple that may take some congestion off of Sanford, where we can, cut from Norcross over to Westmoreland. There are several that I'm very interested in that could help that area. But until we fix also the Sanford connection with West Catawba, widening West Catawba, I think is going to be limited as far as what benefit it'll bring to us.
Yeah. And what about that exit for the new hospital? Is that still something on the table out there?
Very much on the table, exit 27. It's not as close as I'd like to see it. We're talking years and years out, 10 years or so. But not to give up on it and maybe move it forward when you have a partner like Atrium that is also lobbying in Raleigh to say, we need that. And when you look at our exit 28 connection there and congestion, it certainly points out that we need another in and out of Cornelius.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you've ever taken exit 28, you're going to get stuck on the ramp a little bit. It'd be nice to have a place to get off just a little smidge earlier and could keep traffic flowing up there.
Your work on exit 25 seems to be accepted. At first, it was a little confusing.
Yeah.
I know I took a ride through there and had to scratch my head a little bit about which way to go, but
yeah.
Bigger road projects do take time, but I know we're both pushing for it.
Yeah. Exit 23 is fully functioning and opening and working really well as long as people pay attention to the signs. So don't try and turn left at exit 23. It's not safe. Don't do it. So we're about to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I want for you to share with the listeners, like if people had never been to the town of Cornelius ever, what is one thing that you would want them to see if they came to the town of Cornelius?
Well, during the day, I'd like them to see the lake and our beautiful parks.
Yeah.
They come at night, come to the Kane Center, see a performance.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful town.
My favorite place in Cornelius is Deton Park. I love to go for walks there, so that's what I'm going to weigh in. But thank you all for being here and for listening. Mayor Bilodeau, thank you for joining me today. I'm sure we'll do this a lot more as the 2 years go on, and I hope to continue these conversations. And that was Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. Hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks
Thanks for spending part of your holiday season with us. You can hear this full episode, plus previous ones, on the WSIC News app. WSIC, local starts here.
WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM, Statesville, Lake Norman's home for local talk radio. WSIC, local starts here.